Tonight, the dangerous heat tightens its grip. More than 70 million Americans in 14 states are now under heat alerts, with areas of the country like Caribou, Maine getting their first ever excessive heat warning. Record highs shattered as parts of the country are scorched. We report from across the country. That is, warnings are issued throughout the tropics as the first named storm of the season is on the move. Plus,
when my dad came home with a gun, the police told him if he busted a cap, they'd let the mob have us.
She lost her family home to a racist mob 85 years ago. Now she's reclaiming what was taken from her. In tonight's Prime Focus, we're with the grandmother of Juneteenth, Opal Lee, as she walks into a new house on the same place where her family's home once stood. And
when you were among young fellas, you never have an idea that you're old.
known for his power, grace, and joy on the field, considered one of the greatest baseball players of all time, if not the greatest, tributes pour in for Hall of Famer Willie Mays. We remember the legend. Good evening, everyone. I'm Lindsay Davis. Thanks so much for streaming with us. We're following those stories and much more, including the urgent manhunt across multiple states for a suspect wanted in connection with at least 4 homicides, 2 of them in Oklahoma. Plus, the alliance just struck between North Korea and Russia and what it means for the future of the war in Ukraine. And a state that just became the first to require the 10 commandments to be displayed in public school classrooms and how communities are reacting. But we begin with that tropical threat and extreme heat. Tonight, the first named storm of the hurricane season, Alberto, is bearing down on the Gulf Coast. Texas Governor Greg Abbott has declared a disaster and activated the National Guard. Tropical storm warnings are in effect for the entire coast of Texas. Bands of fierce and heavy rain are already pounding some parts. And tonight, there is significant flash flood risk. The coastal community of Surfside, Texas is already underwater. First responders have had to rescue people trapped in high water. All this comes as the Northeast and Midwest suffer through days of extreme heat. Some towns in Maine have never seen heat like this before. And with the bone-dry conditions on the West Coast, wildfires have now turned deadly and burned at least 1,400 businesses and homes. Tonight, our team is tracking it all. Ginger Z will have the storm track in just a moment. But we begin with Melissa Adon following Alberto in Texas.
Tonight, Tropical Storm Alberto lashing the Texas coast, the first named storm of the season, pushing up to 4 feet of powerful storm surge over the seawall and into coastal communities along the Gulf of Mexico. A water spout spotted just offshore near Galveston.
Alberto slamming into the Texas Gulf Coast with these rough waves, heavy rain, and that storm surge sinking several boats at this Corpus Christi marina.
The bow of one boat and sail of another, all that's left above the water. Waterfront homes left battered. And beach towns like Surfside, Texas, underwater. This driver stranded in flooded streets, forced to abandon her car. But police were able to safely help the young women get to higher ground.
It's definitely worse than I expected, or I'd have been gone, you know. So I should have been more prepared.
Tonight, the Texas governor issuing a disaster declaration for 51 counties and activating the National Guard as the coast braces for up to 10 inches of rain, flash flooding, and possible tornadoes. With Tropical Storm Alberto now headed for landfall in Mexico overnight, officials here in Texas are urging residents to hunker down.
Stocked up on water, everything, and did all that. You know, we pretty much did everything we were able to do to take precautions. Bought extra batteries, lights, bought a couple of generators just in case.
They certainly need all the precautions they can get. Melissa Adon joins us now from Corpus Christi, Texas. So, Melissa, we see the conditions right now. What can we expect later on?
Exactly, Lindsay. This is the main concern, right? So much of this storm surge has flooded several coastal communities across South Texas. They want this water to recede. But again, until Alberto makes its way through Mexico, we're still facing those outer bands all across Texas. And of course, the threat of even more flooding is something that is so serious throughout these communities. Lindsay?
Yeah, so very serious. And we want you to get safe. Melissa, thanks so much. And let's get right to our chief meteorologist, Ginger Z. Ginger, quite busy again for us tonight. I guess 2 parts here. Time Alberto out for us. And again, I'm going to keep asking every night, is there any relief in sight from all this heat?
Well, there is some relief for some, which I'll get to, but let's start with Alberto. So we did get our first named storm of the season, right about on time for average, by the way. But we still have those tropical storm warnings up from the south side of Galveston Bay down to the Mexican border because we anticipate this storm making landfall in Mexico by early tomorrow morning. Flood watches are still up too, and you can see why. The Futurecast takes you through San Antonio, Corpus Christi, just getting that streaming moisture that's coming on the outside of Alberto. So even though you're far from the center, you're still going to see those rain showers, heavy at times with a flash flood threat. Let's talk heat then, and some reprieve. So it starts first with that big dome of high pressure. And by the way, Caribou, Maine tied their all-time record temperature at 96 degrees and broke their all-time hottest heat index. It was 103 for the feels like. But tomorrow, heat advisory still up from Grand Rapids, Michigan, up through Manchester, where you've got 98 degrees anticipated with an excessive heat warning. And remember, these are air temperatures, so it will feel hotter than these numbers. But then the break comes for some in parts of the Northeast, especially New England, where it's been extremely hot today and where this has kind of taken over. Scattered storms will come through. You can see them there in the afternoon and early evening. The damaging wind is the main hazard for southern Vermont, parts of New Hampshire, Worcester, Massachusetts, back through much of central and western New York. So we're going to be watching those storms tomorrow. But that high pressure system, it's not going to go away. It's just going to kind of backtrack and focus a little bit more on the mid-south all the way back to the plains for the weekend. So watch as those numbers in those red boxes that tell you that you could break a record happen for Oklahoma City at 102 by Sunday, Little Rock at 100 by Sunday, just scorching Cincinnati close to 100 on Saturday, and DC 101. Now, of course, this heat eventually, has to subside a bit, but it looks in those long-term forecasts like we're going to stay well above average for almost everyone except the Pacific Northwest through early July, Lindsay.
And Ginger, I know we talked last night about the connection between climate change and this extreme heat. Beyond those nighttime temperatures not going down, what else is at play here?
Yeah, so with climate change, we know that we will see more intense, more frequent, and we will see these last longer, right? The duration of them is going to be longer. And what that ends up doing is makes the overall average temperature go up considerably when you've got those overnight lows, which are going up almost 2 times faster than the afternoon highs. You get a map like this, and somebody will look at this and say, okay, so plus 3 degrees in the summer, plus 4 degrees, that doesn't seem like that much because 80 to 84, not a big deal. No, these are averages, meaning of the entire day. It is extremely difficult to move these. And a meteorologist that we work with back in the office there, Dan Peck, he had a great analogy. You remember when you were getting maybe an 85 in a class and you needed to get up to that A? Think about how much you had to do to budge that average. That's how much the atmosphere has done over the past 50 years on that map. A lot to heat it up. Lindsay?
Really good and helpful analogy there, Ginger. Thank you. And for more on that record heat hitting 70 million Americans and the deadly wildfires raging on the West Coast, let's get right to our Stephanie Ramos.
Tonight, that searing heat wave spreading deeper into the Northeast and Midwest with no relief in sight. In New York City, thousands flocking to beaches to escape the heat. Some forced to work under the blaring sun. Others doing what they can.
Just remaining cool, of course, hydration, staying inside when it's too high.
A record-breaking 98 degrees in Boston. Chicago seeing 4 straight days in the 90s. With no air conditioning, Silas Ratliff using his freezer to keep cool.
I usually get like a water bottle or something, once it's frozen, just rub it on, try to get through.
In New Mexico, a flash flood emergency just issued as thunderstorms slammed the town of Ruidoso, still reeling from those deadly wildfires. Family members confirming the death of 60-year-old Patrick Pearson, a local musician. His family saying he had a broken leg and couldn't escape before the fire swept through. The scale of destruction staggering. At least 1,400 homes and businesses burned to the ground. 8,000 people evacuated.
We were engulfed in smoke. That scared me to death.
Frank and Connie Loya barely escaped.
I don't know whether we're going to have a home.
The situation there is so dire. Stephanie Ramos joins us now. Stephanie, what are authorities most concerned about with all this heat?
Well, Lindsay, back here in the east, authorities are warning that these life-threatening temperatures will intensify over the next few days. They want folks to look out for seniors, children, and those with chronic health conditions because those individuals are the most vulnerable during these types of temperatures, Lindsay.
All right, Stephanie Ramos for us. Our thanks to you. And it's in these periods of extreme heat that millions of laborers are trying to protect themselves as they report to work in such dangerous conditions, in particular Florida, where from construction to agriculture, there are some 2 million workers laboring outside in extreme heat. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis signed a law earlier this year preventing cities and counties in the state from enacting protections for workers. Esteban Wood is the director of We Count, an organization advocating for worker protections in Miami-Dade, Florida. Thank you so much for joining us, Esteban. Tell us what specific protections you're seeking for workers in your community there in Florida.
Yeah, thank you for having me. So in Miami-Dade, our organization fought for shaded rest breaks, clean, safe drinking water, and the opportunity really for these outdoor workers to return home alive. Basic protections that would prevent heat stroke, heat-related illness, and death.
There are federal regulations that require employers generally to keep their workers safe. Why are those not enough?
Yeah, OSHA has a general duty clause, but there's no specificity around what sort of protections outdoor employers should give their workers. And what our organization and many other organizations nationally are asking for is heat-specific regulations, a common sense standard that we can all abide by to give these workers the common sense protections that they need and they deserve.
So why are specific protections so difficult to achieve?
Well, there's a lot of pushback nationally, statewide, and locally. You have well-funded industry groups who are opposed because in their eyes, because of liability and because of costs, they don't want to prioritize the health and safety of outdoor workers. And these folks, we have to remember, these folks are the folks that build our communities, that put food on our table, that pick our fruits and vegetables. These are really the most vulnerable workers. And in the United States of America, honestly, we should put health and safety above all else.
If Governor Ron DeSantis is listening to you right now, what would you like to tell him?
I would honestly say, he should reconsider. He should ask the Florida legislature to take meaningful steps to at least offer education. Many of these workers don't understand the warning signs, the risk factors associated with heat. We need to make sure, prioritize these workers, have them understand the risks. And I would ask him to reconsider. Just a couple years ago in 2020, the Florida legislature voted unanimously to give heat protections for high school athletes. They did that because they understood the link between exertional activity and high temperatures. If we prioritize high school athletes, we should do the same for outdoor workers.
Well, what's his explanation for not giving it to outdoor workers?
Well, I don't think he has offered any explanation. That's a good question. We should ask him and apply pressure on him. But from what the sponsors of the legislation for high school athletes told me was high school athletes have don't have enough autonomy. Workers have more autonomy over deciding when they want to take breaks. And that is flawed thinking. That's a fallacy to think that outdoor workers have the flexibility to take breaks whenever they want to. There is a high expectation for productivity in these industries, and oftentimes supervisors don't want to give too many breaks because it affects their business's bottom line.
Director of We Count, Esteban Wood, we thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Now, when he signed the bill, Governor DeSantis downplayed the issue, saying much of the concern came from Miami-Dade County and that local regulations would have caused, quote, problems in other parts of the state. Next to the urgent manhunt underway across multiple states for a suspect wanted in connection with at least 4 homicides, including more than one in Oklahoma. Stacey Drake was last seen on surveillance at a hotel in Arkansas, but alerts have gone out in multiple states. Police stress the suspect is extremely dangerous. Here's ABC's Faith Abube.
Tonight, law enforcement agents across multiple states urgently searching for an armed and dangerous murder suspect they believe may have killed 4 people. Police say the 50-year-old suspect, Stacey Lee Drake, captured here in surveillance images, was last seen outside this motel in Arkansas after he allegedly abandoned a stolen vehicle connected to 2 of the homicides.
It's a small town. A lot of people leave like their doors unlocked and stuff, so it's a little scary.
The intense manhunt beginning in Oklahoma last night, where deputies say they found the bodies of a man and a woman inside this business not far from the Arkansas state line.
I'm 1019 to LaFerry's propane. At least 2 people have been shot.
Investigators say the suspect stole the victim's car after killing them, identifying Drake as a person of interest, describing him as a white male with brown hair and brown eyes, who's 5'11" and weighs 185 pounds. Police stressing that Drake is extremely dangerous and that anyone who sees him should not approach him, but call 911 immediately.
Hopefully people will heed those warnings. Faith Abube joins us now live from Metro Atlanta. Hey, Faith, what are you learning from court records about his criminal record?
Well, Lindsay, outside of these alleged murders, court records show that Drake has an extensive criminal record spanning 3 decades. He's currently wanted for robbery in Oklahoma, assault in Arizona, and murder in Alabama. Lindsay.
Faith Abube for us. Faith, thanks so much. Tonight, authorities are investigating a horrific home explosion in Syracuse, New York. The house collapsed. 13 people were rushed to the hospital, including 8 children. What we know about what may have caused this and what firefighters discovered inside. Aaron Katersky reports.
Tonight, investigators in Syracuse are narrowing the cause of this house collapse that sent 12 people, including an 8-month-old, to the hospital to something inside the home that uses natural gas, maybe an appliance.
Whatever occurred happened in the house.
The collapse was likely caused by an explosion. Fire officials say when they arrived on scene, there was a heavy odor of gas, but an inspection today found no problems with the equipment leading to the house. 12 people remain hospitalized, all of them stable, including young children who were critically hurt.
Certainly feeling some level of relief right now at the condition of the victims. Obviously, at that age, everything is heightened in terms of concern and risk.
One large family of Burmese refugees was visiting another when the house collapsed.
There was an explosion, kids screaming, getting multiple calls of fire from residents, and building has collapsed.
Neighbors quickly ushering the occupants to safer spots.
It's a commendable effort, helped in ensuring some better outcomes for the people that were involved.
Aaron Katersky joins us now. Aaron, where does this investigation go at this point?
It's painstaking, Lindsay, and investigators with the Syracuse Fire Department said they will be on scene picking through the debris at that collapsed house through the night, maybe into the next several days. And they've brought along experts in explosions from the Federal Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms to help them determine a cause. Lindsay?
Aaron Katersky for us. Our thanks to you. Overseas tonight, a new pact between 2 of America's biggest adversaries, Vladimir Putin and Kim Jong-un, on what they have agreed to in front of the world. And closer to home tonight, the U.S. Navy is tracking a Russian submarine about 100 miles off of Florida. Martha Raddatz reports.
Tonight, a dangerous new pact between 2 of America's staunchest adversaries, with promises to defend one another against aggression by the U.S. and its allies. The agreement comes after Kim Jong-un eagerly welcomed Vladimir Putin to Pyongyang. Huge crowds filling the capital's main square, while goose-stepping North Korean soldiers paraded before the 2 leaders. The agreement signed after hours of face-to-face meetings, a clear reward for Kim providing Russia with hundreds of thousands of artillery rounds and missiles for the war in Ukraine. Putin calling this a breakthrough document between the 2 countries, which he said raises the relationship to a new level, and backing what he called Kim's right to strengthen its own defense capability, adding that Russia did not exclude the development of military technical cooperation. And that is exactly what Kim wants as he increases his nuclear and ballistic weapons programs.
Our thanks to Martha Raditz. And from Russia tonight, word a court has sentenced a U.S. Army sergeant to nearly 4 years in prison at a penal colony. Gordon Black was arrested last month and accused of beating and stealing from his Russian girlfriend, charged with threatening to kill her. He denies that charge. Black is the latest American to be held in a Russian jail, though at this time the U.S. has not designated him as wrongfully detained. To England now, where 2 climate protesters were arrested Wednesday for spraying paint on the Stonehenge monument. The act, committed by Just Stop Oil, was quickly condemned by Prime Minister Rishi Sunak as a, quote, disgraceful act of vandalism. Just Stop Oil is one of many environmental groups that has received attention and blowback for splashing paint and food on famous works of art. English Heritage, which manages the site, said it was extremely upsetting and said curators were investigating the damage. It is Juneteenth, a day honoring the emancipation of the last enslaved Americans in Galveston, Texas, back in 1865. While the Emancipation Proclamation was signed in 1863, it took the Union 2 years to declare every person in Confederate states as free, celebrating the Black Americans who have fought for our freedom even when they did not have many rights in America. The first ever Juneteenth honor flight took 26 Black veterans to Washington, D.C. today, one of them 101 years old. After arriving in D.C., the group visited the U.S. Marine Corps War Memorial, also making stops at several other memorials. For months, ABC News has worked with the 10 Million Names Project, connecting people with the history of their enslaved ancestors. Tonight, we're revisiting these stories, including our Alex Brachet examining the significance of rare audio of a formerly enslaved person.
When my husband would go out west and pick cotton, go out west every year. We've been this year going out there picking cotton.
One of the things that kind of struck me when you have an interview recorded in 1974, for some Black Americans, I mean, they're one generation removed from slavery.
In some ways, we think of slavery as ancient history. We think of it as something that happened a very long time ago to people we couldn't possibly have known. I was 6, 7 years old in 1974.
You'll hear from the descendant of that enslaved woman. You'll also see my own journey to discover how my family's history connects with the long fight for voting rights. You can stream our Juneteenth 10 Million Names special tonight at 8:30 p.m. Eastern right here on ABC News Live, and it will stream on Hulu starting tomorrow. Still much more to get to here on Prime tonight. The response from Justin Timberlake's legal team as the singer faces a charge for driving while intoxicated. But next, this Juneteenth, righting a wrong. More than 80 years ago, she lost her home to a blatant act of racism. Now, after years of fighting for equality, the grandmother of Juneteenth is reclaiming what was taken from her family after decades of keeping her trauma a secret.
And I buried it for years. I mean, until recently, a reporter found the article in the paper and approached me about it. But I never told my family, my children, not a soul.
If you were coming of age in the 1980s, the Brat Pack was near the center of your cultural awareness. But for those of us experiencing it from the inside, the Brat Pack was something very different. On June 10th, 1985, New York Magazine published Hollywood's Brat Pack. I just remember seeing that cover and thinking, oh. From then on, my career and the career of everyone who was involved was branded to the Brat Pack.
I'm really sorry that article had to come out.
I've never talked to anybody about what that was like. So I thought it might be interesting to try and contact everyone who was in the Brat Pack. Hey, Emilio Estevez. This is Andrew McCarthy calling you. Hey, Allie. Hey, Demi. Hey, Molly. Let's call Rob. Hello? Judd? Me? You around? You were not interested in talking about the Brat Pack for years.
I turned everything down.
How come you're talking to me?
Because you called me. It was time that we clear the air on a couple of things.
I love your stuff, Bob. Hey, thank you. I hated the Brat Pack for decades. What a disaster. If you could have the Brat Pack name not exist, would you?
It really irritated me. They said, what's more important to you, the movie or your life? And I said,
the movie!
Andrew.
Have you talked to the others? The others, like, again, it feels like a cult or something.
Yeah. Why did we take it as an offense?
Well,
As opposed to like
a brat.
Because we were young.
We're afraid we were brats, you know.
Are you in the Brat Pack?
I'm Brat Pack adjacent.
That's what I was saying.
I am not in the Brat Pack.
Crush on you back in the day?
You did not, Andrew. No, you did not.
Being in the Brat Pack not only changed all of our lives, it changed what entertainment is. I mean, I'm not going to say we were the Beatles or anything.
Well, we didn't fill Shea Stadium. There were moments.
We could have. 1985, I think we could have.
So what are you filming?
Oh, we're just doing this documentary.
What's it about?
Ancient history.
ABC's David Muir, the most watched newscast in America.
I'm Anthony Mackie. Like most fishermen, sharks used to terrify me. If the shark gets too close, I should hit it in the nose.
Well, you don't need to hit it.
I'm on a quest to find out why these apex predators, that's amazing, are swiping fishermen's hard-earned catches. What? You saw that? Shark Beach with Anthony Mackie.
Woo! That's our fish. Look at that.
Part of the sharkiest 4-week celebration this summer. Shark Fest starts June 30th at 9 on National Geographic.
Welcome back, everyone. As we mark this Juneteenth day, we want to shine a light on the woman affectionately known as the grandmother of Juneteenth, Opal Lee. This weekend, she celebrated a major milestone, decades in the making, a new house built on the very land where her family home was burned down by a racist mob 85 years ago. In tonight's Prime Focus, DeMarco Morgan is there with the civil rights legend as she settled into her new home for the very first time.
Mother Opal Lee.
Come on in.
Knock, knock. How are you, beautiful? Looking young. 97 years where?
Oh.
How you doing?
Real
Pleasure to meet you. Pleasure to see you. Opal Lee, also known as the grandmother of Juneteenth, is celebrating yet another victory. This one 85 years in the making.
I tell you, I'm so happy. I could do a holy dance.
You could do a holy dance. A victory dance because Lee just received keys to this brand new house.
And we pray right now together.
In her hometown of Fort Worth, Texas, in a neighborhood she once called home. It's a gift she thought she'd never live to see. So first, how does it feel to be back here on the block?
I'm awestruck. I'm grateful. I'm just so, I wish my mom and my dad could see me now.
The nation thanks Opal Lee, the grandmother of Juneteenth.
The activist and civil rights legend is known for her efforts in seeing that Juneteenth, the day that marked the end of slavery for all African Americans back in 1865, became a national holiday. But it was also on June 19th, more than 7 decades after the freeing of slaves during the days of Jim Crow, that Lee and her family would come under attack by an angry mob right at this corner on this very same land. You know, it was 85 years ago.
Yeah.
But June 19th, 1939. Tell us about that moment. You were 12 years old.
Yeah. What happened was my parents had bought a house here, and my mom had it fixed up so nice. And on the 19th of June, the people started gathering across the street, and the police were there. When my dad came home with a gun, the police told him if he busted a cap, they'd let the mob have us. Our parents sent us to friends several blocks away. They left under cover of darkness. Those people drug the furniture out and burned it. They did despicable things. But our parents never, ever discussed it with us. Never.
They never talked about it. Why do you think your parents were so tight-lipped about it?
I don't know. And I buried it for years. I mean, until recently, a reporter found the article in the paper and approached me about it. But I never told my family, my children, not a soul.
Shortly after moving into the predominantly white neighborhood, Lee's family would pay the ultimate price of losing their home.
And they didn't want us. And it amazes me because we would have been good neighbors, but they didn't see it that way. I took that lesson to heart.
And carried that pain for a long time.
Yes.
85 years.
It taught me that whatever our circumstances are, there's a God who leads us through it. And he has led me through it. And I've had some other bumps and things that were a little much.
So how did you get the land back?
What happened was I had tried for years to find out who owned the land. Finally, I found out that Habitat did. I had been on that board. So I go to Habitat to buy, and they wouldn't sell it to me. They gave it to me.
I love this too.
Yeah.
The place adorned with beautiful hand-painted pictures of Lee. 19 kids.
Yeah, 3 sets.
That's a lot of kids.
Listen, 3 sets of twins. So thankful that God has led me to this point, and it's come full circle.
Full circle?
Yes, it has.
Look at this porch.
Oh, man.
Oh, this is a beautiful place to read your Bible and your books.
Yes, and did I tell you, Henry Louis Gates just sent me, I bet you, 5, it may be 7 volumes of his work.
Oh, wow. And look at this house. Watch out now. Watch out.
Oh, it's fabulous.
This is fabulous. Is it so surreal still? Have you had a chance to pinch yourself and say, you know what, wait up, despite all the cameras and the news, this is real.
I have thanked God, and thank God for bringing me to this point.
Answered prayer. Our thanks to DeMarco Morgan for that. Still much more to get to coming up. The warning from the FDA to Dollar Tree stores, what they're accused of leaving on the shelves for weeks. But next, he was one of the greatest to ever step on a baseball field. We take a look at Willie Mays' extraordinary career and legacy by the numbers.
There is a price to be paid every time a survivor shares their story.
I think it's so hard to live every day feeling like, like I must be broken.
I had just turned 14.
And it was scary. It was scary. I will not be silenced.
This church has been alive for decades, and the next thing you know,
all hell breaks loose.
What is the 2x2 church?
It is a secret sect. It flies under the radar. If you don't agree with them, your salvation is at stake.
A stunning amount of information has come out about the misdeeds of some of the ministers. These same people preaching this message were the ones hiding horrific, horrific things.
Do you feel the church accepted abuse?
I wouldn't say accepted it as so much pretended it didn't exist.
Yep, that's him.
Yep.
Ready? Kira Phillips with ABC News. Did you sexually abuse Sherry Autry when she was 14 and you were 28?
No comment.
Do you believe your church protected you? Does your church protect sexual predators? The powerful new Impact by Nightline. So the church saw itself as judge and jury.
There's nothing pretty about hearing this.
Secrets of the 2x2 Church. Now streaming only on Hulu.
All right, let the dogs out, please.
I don't think he's going to give you a hard time.
Even if he gives me a hard time, I'm the right guy. I want to make sure that we all learn together.
Calm, confident.
Calm, confident, calm, surrender.
Everything that he's taught has become a reality.
We are so grateful and impressed.
I feel like crying. You changed our world.
It is a beautiful thing to see. As you rehabilitate the dog, you also rehabilitate you.
Here's to Good Mornings in America.
Can you feel the love? Oh, yeah.
Mornings that inspire, filled with hope, kindness, joyous surprises, and so much fun.
This is crazy. This is absolutely crazy.
Start your day with Good Morning America's Ray of Sunshine, highlighting the best of America and helping
make dreams come true. Wow. I'm just so happy. It's so good.
Get ready to smile and put the good into your morning, America, because
you know what will make the morning better? A little ray of sunshine.
Are you ready to celebrate?
Sunday, June 30th, across the country. See, experience some of the nation's greatest pride celebrations all in one place as they happen live right here on ABC News Live. Pride across America. Celebrate joy, love, freedom, and pride. Sunday, June 30th, starting at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Streaming on ABC News Live and stream on Hulu. Here's to Good Mornings in America.
Can you feel the love?
Oh, yeah.
Mornings that inspire, filled with hope, kindness, joyous surprises, and so much fun.
This is crazy. This is absolutely crazy.
Start your day with Good Morning America's ray of sunshine, highlighting the best of America and helping
Make dreams come true.
Wow.
I'm just so happy. It's so good.
get ready to smile and put the good into your morning, America, because
You know what will make the morning better? A little ray of sunshine.
Reporting from the Normandy coast for the 80th anniversary of D-Day, I'm David Muir. Wherever the story is, we'll take you there. You're streaming ABC News Live.
When you're among young fellas, you never have an idea that you're old, because I see a lot of kids that are 22, 23 years old that I can do a lot more things than they can. And so when you're talking about age, I never even worry about it.
Age only a number. That was Willie Mays on May 12th, 1972. It was on that day that the San Francisco Giants decided to retire his number, even though Mays wasn't retiring at all. He had just signed with the New York Mets. Willie Mays was so gifted, even his boyhood idol, Joe DiMaggio, once said of him, "Willie Mays is the closest to being perfect I've ever seen. His achievements are tonight's by the numbers." Mays passed away yesterday at the age of 93, but even when he was 42 years old in 1973, his final season, he was still able to guide the Mets to the World Series. Mays played for 23 seasons, his longevity practically unparalleled. That includes his one season in the Negro Leagues. Until yesterday, Mays had been just one of 3 Negro League players still alive. As for those statistics, every kid with a baseball card collection knows well Mays hit 660 home runs. Only 5 players have hit more. He also had more than 3,200 hits. Only 11 players have had more. His speed and fielding skills were also unmatched. His 12 Gold Gloves remain the most ever by a center fielder, and the award didn't even exist during his first 5 MLB seasons. His uncanny ability to get to a batted ball immortalized during the 1954 World Series when Mays made what is known as the catch. Our friends at ESPN analyzing what Dodgers announcer Vin Scully once called the greatest play of all time, estimated that Mays had to have run over 90 feet in mere seconds to make the catch. And we still have much more ahead here on Prime tonight. A couple's dream of having a family became harder than they imagined. Why they say healthcare policies are making it more difficult for some in the LGBTQ community to have children. And from coming-of-age romantic comedies to horror thrillers, Anthony Michael Hall has long been a staple of the silver screen. He joins us to talk about his latest project.
I experienced a lot of rejection, a lot of heartache. I'm a tough woman, but it's not easy. I have my days where you gotta do whatever you can to crawl out of those dark holes. You're gonna feel lonely. There was a lot of personal stuff in my life that was really falling apart. It's taken me a really long time to even get to this moment. I feel like every pair of bell bottoms all come with a different story. 19 years old, pulling up to Nashville, I was terrified.
Not everybody makes it.
I was a fish out of water. At times, I was too country for country.
You were living in a trailer for a while.
I remember sitting out in this camper trailer, crying my eyes out, thinking, is it ever gonna happen? But Mom and Daddy didn't raise no quitter. I have had the hardest 2 months of my life. My daddy has not been doing well. We've been through a lot these past few years, and it kind of makes me emotional. Y'all gonna see me cry again. I was scrolling on TikTok. I noticed a few videos of my butt that had gone viral. At first, I was laughing, and I'm like, these people ain't right. No matter what size you are beautiful.
Being a woman in country music can be tough.
The CMA Award
award for Album of the Year
for Female Vocalist of the Year.
Entertainer of the Year
Goes to Lainey
Wilson.
That was a mic drop.
The
Entertainer of the Year, baby.
Lainey's album, Bell Bottom Country, changed the game.
There ain't nothing better than this. Hold my beer, watch this.
What she is doing right now is changing country music.
I do see the bell bottoms and the hat as my superhero outfit.
Go, Lainey!
It's mind-blowing. It's magic. I'm proud of myself. I really am. I have worked my ass off. Now it's time to see what's next. That's what I'm talking about! Woo!
You're watching America's #1 streaming news. Keep streaming with ABC News Live.
Hey, good morning, America.
Good morning, America. Good morning, America. You don't just see it, you feel it.
I'm in.
I'll be there.
I am in.
Good morning, America.
Every day of your life.
Now streaming on Hulu.
I'm a rock and roll star. I'm not a saint. I'm John Bon Jovi.
John Bon Jovi. The new special, what you have not yet seen. John Bon Jovi with Michael Strahan. Now streaming on Hulu.
Justin Timberlake's lawyer responds to the artist's DWI charge. Louisiana's new school policy could end up in front of the Supreme Court, and the team effort to rescue a trapped baby animal. These stories and much more in tonight's Rundown.
Justin Timberlake's lawyer is responding to the singer's charge of driving while intoxicated in the Hamptons. A criminal complaint says during a traffic stop, the 43-year-old had bloodshot and glassy eyes and a strong odor of alcohol on his breath. His attorney said in a statement today that he's prepared to vigorously defend the pop star in court and that he will have a lot to say at the appropriate time, but is awaiting more details on the case from the district attorney. The Pentagon says they conducted an airstrike in Syria over the weekend, killing Osama Jamal Mohammed Ibrahim al-Janabi, a senior ISIS official and facilitator. His death will disrupt ISIS's ability to resource and conduct terror attacks, according to the U.S. Central Command. There was no indication that any civilians were harmed in the strike. Louisiana has become the first state to require the 10 Commandments be displayed in every public school classroom under a bill signed into law by Republican Governor Jeff Landry today. The GOP drafted legislation mandates that a poster-sized display of the 10 Commandments in large, easily readable font be required in classrooms from kindergarten to state-funded universities. Opponents warn that lawsuits are likely to follow. A bipartisan group of U.S. lawmakers, including Nancy Pelosi, met with the Dalai Lama in India today, saying they would not allow China to influence the choice of his successor. Comments expected to anger Beijing, which calls the exiled Tibetan spiritual leader a separatist. The visit comes as President Biden appears poised to sign a bill pressuring Beijing to resolve tensions with Tibet and protect the region's native Buddhist culture. The FDA says Dollar Tree stores failed to effectively recall lead-tainted applesauce pouches, allowing the products to stay on store shelves for up to 2 months. The Wana Banana Apple Cinnamon pouches were linked to reports of more than 500 children in 44 states becoming sick with elevated lead levels in their bloodstream, according to the CDC. Officials at the Chesapeake, Virginia-based company said they stopped allowing sales of the products at registers, but the FDA says that was not an effective measure because at least one child in Washington state ate a recalled fruit pouch in a store before purchase. An Alaska man and 2 police officers saved the life of a baby moose after it fell into a lake and got stuck in a narrow space between a float plane and a dock. Spencer Warren arrived at work early Friday morning when he heard what he thought was an odd-sounding bird. He quickly spotted the moose calf stuck between the floats of the plane and the dock. The calf was eventually reunited with its mother.
Now to the son of convicted murderer Alec Murdaugh, fighting back against accusations that he's also a killer. Buster Murdaugh is suing over documentaries that accuse him of involvement in the death of a classmate. ABC's Eva Pilgrim has more.
The only surviving son of convicted double murderer and disgraced legal scion Alec Murdaugh fighting back 28-year-old Buster Murdaugh suing Netflix, Warner Brothers, and other media companies for accusing him of being involved in the death of his former classmate, Stephen Smith.
He had a big sense of humor. He's sort of like this all-American boy.
In his lawsuit, Murdaugh says documentaries like these for Warner Brothers.
I think every young person who is coming out, one of their greatest fears is that they'll be the victim of a crime of violence.
And this one from Netflix.
Listening to these interviews, it's pretty clear Stephen's death is now intertwined with the Murdaughs.
Include defamatory statements falsely claiming he murdered Smith. The Netflix series featuring a reenactment of Smith's death showing a young man with red hair carrying a baseball bat.
I never had anything to do with his murder.
Murdaugh previously denying he had anything to do with Smith's murder in a Fox Nation docuseries.
I mean, people perceive me as a murderer.
Smith was killed in 2015, his body found in the middle of a road. The case reopened during the Murdaugh double murder investigation of Buster's mother, Maggie, and brother, Paul. We reached out to Netflix and Warner Brothers, but haven't heard back. As for Stephen Smith's family, his mother determined to find the truth.
He didn't deserve to die this way, and I know somebody did it, and whoever did it needs to come forward.
Eva Pilgrim reporting. This Pride Month, we're highlighting inspiring people in the LGBTQ community driving change. Today, we chronicle one couple's fight for equality in healthcare and their dreams of growing their family together. ABC's Gio Benitez has their story.
When Corey Briskin and Nicholas Majapinto got married, starting a family was their dream.
We wanted to have children, and we wanted to do that biologically, which meant ultimately IVF and eventually surrogacy.
But their journey would become harder than they ever imagined.
We had many hurdles to get to the point of even trying to be pregnant.
The biggest hurdle, health care. Corey, who was working as a lawyer in the district attorney's office in New York City, found out that IVF coverage doesn't apply to them.
Right now, the city covers IVF for single women or women in any kind of relationship.
That's right.
Correct. But not men.
Correct.
Just last month, a couple filing a class action lawsuit against the city of New York that claims the city violates civil and constitutional rights by denying employees who are gay males and their partners IVF benefits.
What is the point of this lawsuit?
To ensure that when an employer offers a benefit like access to IVF to its employees, it does so on an equal basis, regardless of the sex, sexual orientation, marital status.
And in our case, specifically, it needs to change its definition of infertility and update its policy to include gay men and single men.
This is a historic case, and we're hoping that this case will help establish the principle that gay men deserve the very same benefits to help grow their families biologically.
The city of New York says it's reviewing the complaint. A spokesperson telling ABC News the city has been a leader in offering IVF treatments for any city employee or dependent covered by the city's health plan who has shown proof of infertility regardless of gender identity or sexual orientation. So far, the couple says they have spent over $120,000 out of pocket on the IVF process.
Has any of that been covered by your health insurance?
Not a dime.
Money they had anticipated using for the surrogate process, knowing it's not covered by insurance.
All said and done, it will be at least $200,000.
New York City Council member Lynn Schulman introducing a bill.
Equity in health care is something that should be provided to everyone.
Corey testifying at a hearing this week.
We are seeking justice for ourselves and for hundreds or possibly thousands of other gay male employees and their partners who have been wrongfully denied IVF access.
Everybody deserves equal access.
Our thanks to Gio Benitez. Time for the latest in our series, Streamlined, where we bring you some of the biggest films and TV series hitting screens worldwide, speaking with some of the actors and creators behind them. Our next guest has a career that spans almost 5 decades, from 80s classics like The Breakfast Club and 16 Candles to films like War Machine and Halloween Kills. Anthony Michael Hall is a staple of the silver screen. Now he stars in Trigger Warning, a film following a Special Forces commando who uncovers a dangerous conspiracy in her hometown. Let's take a look.
Senator.
Parker, welcome back. People like you around here. They like Harry, or liked him. I'd like to keep it that way.
I
I don't think his death was an accident.
Parker, stay out of it. How's home?
What do you know about Senator Swan?
What the hell you got into? How much does Parker know about this? Too much.
Compelling there. Anthony Michael Hall joins us now in studio to talk about the new Netflix thriller. Welcome to the show, Mike.
Thank you, Lindsay. Great to be with you.
You can always tell somebody's a bad guy the way they just adjust their tie, just like you did as the senator.
Caught that move,
there.
right? Yeah. Well,
So
it's fun to
this
play
is-
bad guys, yeah.
This is high, action-packed, full of adrenaline. What drew you to this role?
Well, it was a great opportunity. I had a meeting with Molly Soria, who's the filmmaker, and she had done a film called Marlena the Murderer in 4 acts about 7 years ago. It was nominated for an Oscar, and she's a wonderful filmmaker. So we had a great discussion about it, and she wanted me to come on board and play and have some fun. So it was a real fun project we shot in Santa Fe, New Mexico.
And so you have a director who's a female in the chair.
Right,
then you have Jessica Alba, who's starring in it, also playing the role of executive producer. How does that change the action hero, having all these women around, the estrogen?
Great. Listen, you're on your P's and Q's, that's for sure. But it was great. We had a bunch of lady bosses. You know, there was the Erica and Esther from Thunder Road that produced the John Wick series. They produced this film. And as you said, Jessica was one of the EPs, and we had a great director in Molly, and a cinematographer, Zoe White, also fantastic. So it was a real super group of women really leading the charge, and it was a lot of fun. Yeah.
30 years since we last saw you playing the bully in Johnny Depp's Edward Scissorhands.
Right.
And now you're playing the Senator Swan, again, adjusting the tie. It's kind of a sinister role. Give us a sense of that character.
Well, he's kind of a dirty politician. One of the things I wanted to give to him is a kind of general sense that he's a Southern guy, you know, but he's got 2 grown sons in this film. That showed me my age, because I got on set and I got 2 grown men playing my sons. I'm like, all right, I guess I'm my age I'm at now.
And
but
started out as a teenage guy yourself.
Isn't that funny? But it's a great story. You know, I have these 2 sons. They're kind of like Cain and Abel. Jake Weary and Mark Webber play Elvis and Jesse. It's a very interesting kind of good versus evil tale. And Jessica comes back, and she's great. You know, she really carries the film. She was a great producer to work with, too. Really on top of her game.
You mentioned that you'd kind of modeled yourself after the Southern guy. So what do you have to do? Because you play such a diverse role of characters.
Right.
So do you go and spend some time in the Deep South for a little bit, or follow a senator around?
You can kind of just pick up. I mean, I didn't do any of that kind of research. I think we've seen a lot of politicians at work, depending on your interest, and you know. So I just enjoyed it. I got into it. It was important to find the voice for me for the character. So I kind of treated my voice a bit. And again, just shooting in Santa Fe was great. You're really informed by the place. You know, it's a lot of fun.
There's been a lot of talk, as you know, about the Brat Pack. There's been a documentary that was recently made about it. When you look back on those times growing up, is there a positive connection? How do you feel about it?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that article never bothered me. I never really paid it any mind myself, but I wouldn't be sitting here without John Hughes, Lindsay. I mean, he was really great. That idea of standing on the shoulders of giants, I was really informed by that. I mean, I had mentors as a young guy starting out, like Lorne Michaels or John Hughes, or the great Harold Ramis, Maddie Simmons, who founded National Lampoon. So I was very fortunate to give those great opportunities as a kid, and then just kept chipping away at it, like my father taught me. Just keep at it, you know. And thank God I've had a long run.
Do you have a favorite character? I know that's like asking you to pick the favorite child.
Right. It's a little tough. I mean, of the the 3 trilogy of the films I did with John Hughes, I would say Farmer Ted, probably 16 Candles. There wasn't much acting going on then. I was pretty much that kid. But in recent years, I've done projects I've been very proud of, like War Machine you mentioned, which was also a Netflix film. Working alongside Brad Pitt was a lot of fun. And I learned a lot watching him. You know, he's to be respected. He's a great guy.
What's next for you on the horizon?
I just finished season 3 of Reacher. We were shooting in Toronto, which is a lot of fun too. Again, high-octane action, great project, and it has a global audience. It's really a big hit of a show, so I'm looking forward to that. And we just wrapped actually a couple weeks ago, and they're still shooting. But season 3 of Reacher will be out early in 25.
So you're staying busy.
Yes, man, got to.
Mike, thank you so much for coming by. Really appreciate it. Want to let our viewers know that you can stream Trigger Warning on Netflix starting this Friday. Now to this year's World Happiness Report, an academic study that's published annually. And once again, you guessed it, Finland is claiming the top spot. The country is also sharing its secrets by launching a tourism program to teach the world its happiness hacks. Our James Longman has the details.
What's the secret to happiness? Finland might have the answer. The World Happiness Report, yeah, it's a thing, has named the country the happiest on Earth. Now it's spreading the love, launching a program called Helsinki Happiness Hacks. People from all over the world are invited to visit to engage in their way of life, and it's completely free.
I'm a complete and total nerd that hasn't been able to travel much in his life.
For New Jersey teacher Joplin James, the program was all about seeing the world and improving himself.
I kind of fell off of taking care of me. I gained a lot of weight. I developed type 2 diabetes.
New Yorker Ginny Bartolone applied on a whim, hoping to meet new faces after disconnecting from people during the pandemic.
This experience, I hoped, and it very much has succeeded, would fulfill my belief again in people connecting.
The 5-day itinerary in the capital city of Helsinki, all alongside so-called happiness hackers. One of those shiny, happy people, Lena Salmi. The 70-year-old is known around the city for her skateboard skills and says she focused on her own happiness 10 years ago.
What makes me happy? Skateboard, swim, just look around.
Another hacker welcoming newcomers to his home country, DJ Tapio Hakkinen, sharing his hacks, cycling, a Finnish sauna, and balance.
One thing that people are positively surprised when they come here and experience Finnish culture is our work-life balance. We work very efficiently, our 8-hour working days, but we want to make sure that there's time and room for other things in life.
The best lessons from those hackers, all surprisingly simple, like enjoy what you eat.
As a teacher, I'm always like, oh, it's my lunch, I gotta hurry up and eat. I'm really going to be conscious of what I'm putting in my body, and I'm really gonna be conscious of enjoying it.
Embrace your inner child.
Have a childlike enthusiasm for everything you're given the opportunity to try.
And nurture the relationships in your life.
You need to invest in your loved ones and tell them that you love them.
I think I'm gonna come back a different person with the tools that we've learned this week.
Enjoy your food, nurture relationships. We're over here taking notes. In case you're wondering, the U.S. actually fell this year from number 15 on the happiness list to number 23. Our thanks to James for that report. And that is our show for this hour. I'm Lindsay Davis. Be sure to stay tuned to ABC News Live for more context and analysis of the day's top stories. Thank you so much for streaming with us. Coming up in the next hour, a plastic surgeon is charged after his wife died on his operating table, what officials say she had in her system, and how an annual Islamic pilgrimage has now become a potentially life-threatening event with a rising death toll.
They call him the Beauty Queen Killer. He's targeting young women in malls, posing as a photographer. Police believe he will strike again.
I am single. I am still gaining life. I want to enjoy the company of a number of women.
A string of abductions and murders.
One of the most wanted fugitives for the FBI.
Across the country, young women disappeared.
He controlled me. He tortured me.
How are you feeling? Do you remember what happened?
One day at the mall, I noticed this man standing around with a camera watching me. Handsome, charismatic, very persuasive. He approached me. He claimed that he could make me a model. This is the one point that I regret every second of my life. Boom, 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 boom.
It just changed like that.
He had his .45 pointed at me, and I never made it home.
I'm nervous for my family, nervous for every girl. I'm nervous for you.
I got my eyes taped shut. He started electrocuting me. You have to obey.
The word accomplice came up.
They insisted that Tina was involved.
Was she complicit, or was she the victim of it? It's very strange behavior.
I have never heard a story of a serial killer letting someone go. I'm wondering if you ever think, why?
Whether you believe me or not, it's my truth. Nobody knows the real story. I felt like there was no way you can escape. What do you do? How do you get out of it? What would you do?
The Beauty Queen Killer. 9 Days of Terror. Streaming only on Hulu.
You're watching America's #1 streaming news, ABC News Live. Breaking news, exclusives, live reporting across the globe. Keep streaming with ABC News Live.
Every Friday. The hottest trends, styles, and must-have. It's time to buy the right stuff. And save big time, too. The right stuff. Fridays on GMA. You're going to love it.
Are you ready to celebrate? Sunday, June 30th, across the country. See, experience some of the nation's greatest pride celebrations all in one place as they happen live right here on ABC News Live. Pride across America. Celebrate joy, love, freedom, and pride. Sunday, June 30th, starting at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Streaming on ABC News Live and stream on Hulu.
Reporting from Monterey Park, California, I'm Robin Roberts. Wherever the story is, we're going to take you there. You're streaming ABC News Live.
Good evening, everyone. This is ABC News Live Prime. I'm Lindsay Davis. Thanks so much for streaming with us. We have a lot of news to get to this evening, including the heat holding tight onto more than 70 million Americans across 14 states now under heat alerts. That is, warnings are issued throughout the tropics as the first named storm of the season is on the move. Plus, the urgent manhunt across multiple states for a suspect wanted in connection with several homicides, 3 of them in Oklahoma. And the tense confrontation that led to Chinese military forces seizing 2 boats from the Philippines as they were delivering food and supplies. But we do begin with that tropical threat and extreme heat. Tonight, the first named storm of the hurricane season, Alberto, is bearing down on the Gulf Coast. Tropical storm warnings are in effect for the coast of Texas. Bands of fierce and heavy rain are already pounding some areas. And tonight, there is significant flash flood risk. The coastal community of Surfside, Texas, is already underwater. All this comes as the Northeast and Midwest suffer through days of extreme heat. And with bone-dry conditions on the West Coast, wildfires have now turned deadly and burned at least 1,400 homes and businesses. Tonight, our team is tracking it all. We begin with Melissa Adan following Alberto in Texas.
Tonight, Tropical Storm Alberto lashing the Texas coast, the first named storm of the season, pushing up to 4 feet of powerful storm surge over the seawall and into coastal communities along the Gulf of Mexico. A water spout spotted just offshore near Galveston.
Alberto slamming into the Texas Gulf Coast with these rough waves, heavy rain, and that storm surge sinking several boats at this Corpus Christi marina.
The bow of one boat and sail of another, all that's left above the water. Waterfront homes left battered. And beach towns like Surfside, Texas, underwater. This driver stranded in flooded streets, forced to abandon her car. But police were able to safely help the young women get to higher ground.
It's definitely worse than I expected, or I'd have been gone, you know. So I should have been more prepared.
Tonight, the Texas governor issuing a disaster declaration for 51 counties and activating the National Guard as the coast braces for up to 10 inches of rain, flash flooding, and possible tornadoes. With Tropical Storm Alberto now headed for landfall in Mexico overnight, officials here in Texas are urging residents to hunker down.
Stocked up on water, everything, and did all that. You know, we pretty much did everything we were able to do to take precautions. Bought extra batteries, lights, bought a couple of generators just in case.
Need those precautions. Our thanks to Melissa. And let's get right to our chief meteorologist, Ginger Z. Ginger, quite busy again for us tonight. I guess 2 parts here. Time Alberto out for us. And again, I'm going to keep asking every night, is there any relief in sight from all this heat?
Well, there is some relief for some, which I'll get to, but let's start with Alberto. So we did get our first named storm of the season, right about on time for average, by the way. But we still have those tropical storm warnings up from the south side of Galveston Bay down to the Mexican border because we anticipate this storm making landfall in Mexico by early tomorrow morning. Flood watches are still up, too, and you can see why. The Futurecast takes you through San Antonio, Corpus Christi, just getting that streaming moisture that's coming on the outside of Alberto. So even though you're far from the center, you're still going to see those rain showers, heavy at times with a flash flood threat. Let's talk heat then, and some reprieve. So it starts first with that big dome of high pressure. And by the way, Caribou, Maine tied their all-time record temperature at 96 degrees and broke their all-time hottest heat index. It was 103 for the feels like. But tomorrow, heat advisory still up from Grand Rapids, Michigan, up through Manchester, where you've got 98 degrees anticipated with an excessive heat warning. And remember, these are air temperatures, so it will feel hotter than these numbers. But then the break comes for some in parts of the Northeast, especially New England, where it's been extremely hot today and where this has kind of taken over. Scattered storms will come through. You can see them there in the afternoon and early evening. The damaging wind is the main hazard for southern Vermont, parts of New Hampshire, Worcester, Massachusetts, back through much of central and western New York. So we're going to be watching those storms tomorrow. But that high pressure system, it's not going to go away. It's just going to kind of backtrack and focus a little bit more on the mid-south all the way back to the plains for the weekend. So watch as those numbers in those red boxes that tell you that you could break a record happen for Oklahoma City at 102 by Sunday, Little Rock at 100 by Sunday, just scorching Cincinnati close to 100 on Saturday, and DC 101. Now, of course, this heat eventually, has to subside a bit, but it looks in those long-term forecasts like we're going to stay well above average for almost everyone except the Pacific Northwest through early July, Lindsay.
And Ginger, I know we talked last night about the connection between climate change and this extreme heat. Beyond those nighttime temperatures not going down, what else is at play here?
Yeah, so with climate change, we know that we will see more intense, more frequent, and we will see these last longer, right? The duration of them is going to be longer. And what that ends up doing is makes the overall average temperature go up considerably when you've got those overnight lows, which are going up almost 2 times faster than the afternoon highs. You get a map like this, and somebody will look at this and say, okay, so plus 3 degrees in the summer, plus 4 degrees, that doesn't seem like that much because 80 to 84, not a big deal. No, these are averages, meaning of the entire day. It is extremely difficult to move these. And a meteorologist that we work with back in the office there, Dan Peck, he had a great analogy. You remember when you were getting maybe an 85 in a class and you needed to get up to that A? Think about how much you had to do to budge that average. That's how much the atmosphere has done over the past 50 years on that map. A lot to heat it up. Lindsay?
Really good and helpful analogy there, Ginger. Thank you. And for more on that record heat hitting 70 million Americans and the deadly wildfires raging on the West Coast, let's get right to our Stephanie Ramos.
Tonight, the searing heat wave spreading deeper into the Northeast and Midwest with no relief in sight. In New York City, thousands flocking to beaches to escape the heat. Some forced to work under the blaring sun. Others doing what they can.
Just remaining cool, of course, hydration, staying inside when it's too hot.
A record-breaking 98 degrees in Boston. Chicago seeing 4 straight days in the 90s with no air conditioning. Silas Ratliff using his freezer to keep cool.
I usually get like a water bottle or something. Most is frozen. Just rub it on me. Try to get through.
In New Mexico, a flash flood emergency just issued as thunderstorms slammed the town of Ruidoso, still reeling from those deadly wildfires. Family members confirming the death of 60-year-old Patrick Pearson, a local musician. His family saying he had a broken leg and couldn't escape before the fire swept through. And late today, police confirming a second person has died. The scale of destruction staggering. At least 1,400 homes and businesses burned to the ground. 8,000 people evacuated.
We were engulfed in smoke. That scared me to death.
Frank and Connie Loya barely escaped.
I don't know whether we're going to have a home.
Such desperate measures and times for them. Our thanks to Stephanie for that. Next to the urgent manhunt underway across multiple states for a suspect wanted in connection with several homicides, including 3 in Oklahoma. Stacey Drake was last seen on surveillance at a hotel in Arkansas, and alerts for him have gone out in multiple states. Police consider him armed and extremely dangerous. Here's ABC's Faith Abube.
Tonight, law enforcement agents across multiple states urgently searching for an armed and dangerous murder suspect they believe may have killed 4 people. Police say the 50-year-old suspect, Stacey Lee Drake, captured here in surveillance images, was last seen outside this motel in Arkansas after he allegedly abandoned a stolen vehicle connected to 2 of the homicides.
It's a small town. A lot of people leave like their doors unlocked and stuff, so it's a little scary.
The intense manhunt beginning in Oklahoma last night, where deputies say they found the bodies of a man and a woman, inside this business not far from the Arkansas state line.
I'm 1019 to LaFerrie's propane. At least 2 people have been shot.
Investigators say the suspect stole the victim's car after killing them, identifying Drake as a person of interest, describing him as a white male with brown hair and brown eyes, who's 5'11" and weighs 185 pounds. Police stressing that Drake is extremely dangerous and that anyone who sees him should not approach him, but call 911 immediately.
Our thanks to Faith. Now to the Florida plastic surgeon arrested in the death of his wife. Authorities there say Dr. Ben Brown was performing a number of surgeries on his wife when she appeared to suffer a seizure. The doctor is then accused of delaying a call to 911. Victor Kendo reports in from Florida.
Tonight, we're learning more about a Florida plastic surgeon arrested months after the death of his wife after a procedure he performed. Dr. Ben Brown charged with second-degree felony homicide, turning himself into authorities. His wife, Hillary, went into cardiac arrest in his surgical chair at this Gulf Breeze clinic in November.
A 32-year-old female was undergoing a procedure for a lipo fat transfer from arrest.
Investigators allege Brown delayed calling 911 for 10 to 20 minutes when his wife became unresponsive. A former clinic employee told investigators Hillary Brown was undergoing multiple procedures at the same time. She prepared her own IV bags and took a plethora of pills before surgery. Witnesses said when she began to convulse and show signs of overdose, her husband continued to inject her with anesthesia. The employee saying there was no EKG or other life-saving equipment in the room. Hillary Brown was eventually taken to the hospital, where she died days later.
Dr. Brown was released on a $50,000 bond. His attorney says that all medical protocols were strictly followed that day. The health department now investigating other alleged malpractice at that clinic. Lindsay?
Victor, thank you. Overseas tonight, a new pact between two of America's biggest adversaries, Vladimir Putin and Kim Jong-un, and what they've agreed to in front of the world. And closer to home tonight, the U.S. Navy is tracking a Russian submarine about 100 miles off the coast of Florida. Martha Raddatz reports.
Tonight, a dangerous new pact between two of America's staunchest adversaries, with promises to defend one another against aggression by the U.S. and its allies. The agreement comes after Kim Jong-un eagerly welcomed Vladimir Putin to Pyongyang. Huge crowds filling the capital's main square, while goose-stepping North Korean soldiers paraded before the two leaders. The agreement signed after hours of face-to-face meetings, a clear reward for Kim providing Russia with hundreds of thousands of artillery rounds and missiles for the war in Ukraine. Putin calling this a breakthrough document between the two countries, which he said raises the relationship to a new level and backing what he called Kim's right to strengthen its own defense capability, adding that Russia did not exclude the development of military technical cooperation. And that is exactly what Kim wants as he increases his nuclear and ballistic weapons programs.
Martha Raddatz joins us now. And Martha, we know that Vladimir Putin has traveled from North Korea to Vietnam tonight, but the U.S. is watching something else very closely tonight. What can you tell us about the Russian submarine off the U.S. coast?
Well, Lindsay, U.S. Navy ships are still tracking a Russian submarine that remains less than 100 miles off of Florida's coast after docking in Cuba with other warships. They were involved in war games before they got to Cuba. Those ships are now headed to Venezuela, but the submarine remains in the area. Lindsay?
All right. Martha Raddatz for us. Our thanks to you. To England now, where two climate protesters were arrested Wednesday for spraying paint on the Stonehenge monument. The act committed by Just Stop Oil was quickly condemned by Prime Minister Rishi Sunak as a, quote, disgraceful act of vandalism. Just Stop Oil is one of many environmental groups that has received attention and blowback for splashing paint and food on famous works of art. English Heritage, which manages the site, said it was extremely upsetting and said curators were investigating the damage. It is Juneteenth, a day honoring the emancipation of the last enslaved Americans in Galveston, Texas in 1865. While the Emancipation Proclamation was actually signed in 1863, it took the Union 2 years to declare every person in Confederate states free, celebrating the Black Americans who have fought for our freedom even when they didn't have many rights in this country. The first ever Juneteenth honor flight took 26 black veterans to Washington, D.C. today, one of them 101 years old. After arriving in D.C., the group visited the U.S. Marine Corps War Memorial, also making stops at several other memorials. For months, ABC News worked with the 10 Million Names Project, connecting people with the histories of their enslaved ancestors. Tonight, we're revisiting these stories, including our Alex Brochet, examining the significance of rare audio of a formerly enslaved person.
My husband would go out west and pick cotton. Go out west every year. We've been this year going out there picking cotton.
One of the things that kind of struck me when you have an interview recorded in 1974, for some black Americans, I mean, they're one generation removed from slavery.
In some ways, we think of slavery as ancient history. We think of it as something that happened a very long time ago to people we couldn't possibly have known. I was 6, 7 years old in 1974.
You'll hear from the descendant of that enslaved woman, and you'll also see my own journey to discover how my family's history connects with the long fight for voting rights. You can stream our Juneteenth 10 Million Names special tonight at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on ABC News Live, and it will stream on Hulu starting tomorrow. Still much more to get to tonight. Coming up, 2 journalists spent 3 years following the lives of 7 people seeking to discover more about wealth inequality. They tell us what they learned. But next, the tense confrontation that led to Chinese military forces seizing 2 boats from the Philippines as they were delivering food and supplies.
Whenever news breaks.
We are here in Israel, a nation at war after that brutal surprise attack by Hamas.
On the ground in Ukraine.
Reporting from Lewiston, Maine.
The scene of a horrific mass shooting.
ABC News Live is right there everywhere. From the scene of that deadly missile strike in Dnipro, Ukraine. Reporting from the earthquake in Turkey.
In Rolling Fork, this tornado tore through this little town.
From the most devastating disaster in Hawaii.
From Charleston, South Carolina, on the 2024 campaign trail.
In Iceland, let's go.
Traveling with the president in Mexico City.
Wherever the story. From the front lines. From southern Israel. Outside the Gaza Strip.
In Beirut.
From the FBI.
Reporting from the nurses on the picket line.
Here at 10 Downing Street in London. Streaming live to you.
Wherever the story is.
Wherever the story is.
Wherever the story is. We're going to take you there.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live. Streaming free everywhere. America's #1 streaming news. What does it take to be the most watched newscast in America?
An operation to capture ISIS fighters.
Is this our Combat Operations Center?
We're approaching the gate now. Militants came in from 4 or 5 different directions.
Operational nuclear reactor.
So you have a couple loaded and ready to go. The house is destroyed, but the flag, there's not a tear in it.
Not a tear in it.
How important is this label right here, Made in the USA? Look at your smile. You're proud of this.
I love this.
Great work.
Hi.
Where are you? Where are you?
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
David, good to meet you.
Ismail? David.
David.
Yes, yes. I'm David Muir.
I know who you are.
You
Watch
do?
you every night.
ABC's World News Tonight with David Muir is America's most watched newscast.
Reporting from the Capitol, I'm Rachel Scott. Wherever the story is, we'll take you there. You're streaming ABC News Live.
Welcome back. We're tracking several headlines around the world. In Saudi Arabia, nearly 2 million people are participating in the annual Hajj pilgrimage to Mecca. But with temperatures there exceeding 122 degrees, hundreds of pilgrims have reportedly died from heat-related causes. The Hajj is a once-in-a-lifetime duty for every able-bodied Muslim who can afford the trek. The Saudi Health Ministry is urging people to drink water and use umbrellas to avoid sunstroke. And in the South China Sea, the Philippine Navy and Chinese Coast Guard are accusing each other after a violent clash near a disputed chain of islands. Chinese forces seized 2 Philippine boats that were delivering food and supplies to the disputed outpost. One Navy sailor from the Philippines was seriously injured when a Chinese Coast Guard boat rammed into their vessel. The U.S. has renewed its warnings to China that it is obligated to defend its treaty ally. Soccer, okay, football fans are fired up as Germany hosts the European Football Championship, now in the group stage of play. And after breaking his nose in a game against Austria, French striker striker Kylian Mbappe is back on the field training with his teammates. France is a favorite to win the tournament, and the final match is July 14th. Our next guests are two journalists who have brought attention to the wealth gap between white and black Americans. In their new book, 15 Cents on the Dollar, Luis Story and Ebony Reed are highlighting the history of black wealth and economic discrimination. Luis and Ebony both join us tonight. Thank you so much for coming, especially on Juneteenth. Very relevant, apropos. Tell me, what sparked your interest in creating this book?
Sure. So, Lindsay, in the summer of 2020, like many Americans across the country, Louise and I were having conversations about inequities, things we'd seen in our lifetimes, things we've seen in the workplace, and we came to the realization that there is no book that exists that covers the racial wealth gap for black Americans from historical all the way back to the 1800s to present day with current people that are living today. And so we thought, with our backgrounds, we are the perfect pair of journalists to tackle this.
And so give us a clue into the title, 15 Cents on the Dollar.
So 15 cents is the amount of money a typical black family has 15 cents compared to $1 in wealth held by the typical white family. That is the gap. And in fact, it was 15 cents on the dollar in the 1950s. It's moved around, but today we are at the same place in terms of the black-white wealth gap that it was in the 1950s.
So has it gotten higher and lower, but then in the end it just has continued?
Yes.
And so you all followed 7 African Americans of different ages over the course of 3 years. And tell me what you learned about them.
Well, I mean, first of all, we learned that they didn't give up. They faced many obstacles. You know, some were trying to become entrepreneurs, so they faced issues with access to capital. Some carried high levels of student loan debt. Black Americans are more likely to have student loan debt and higher levels of it than white Americans, so we see that through their stories. They face home ownership challenges. Black Americans have a lower home ownership rate than white Americans, so that plays out in their lives. So we also trace their family trees back 5 to 7 generations. So as we cover the history in our country, you meet who they descended from.
And to what do you attribute the disparity or the wealth gap? Because there are a number of people who might talk about, you know, black people in terms of negative explanations for why it's their own fault or their own undoing that they're in the circumstances that they are. And so I'm just looking for that explanation of the 15 cents on the dollar.
Yes, and one of our goals with this book is to spread empathy. And I think when people read the book, they will see how many barriers are just there. And so that may change some of the perception that you just referred to. But there's a lot of causes. One of the #1 causes of this gap is simply dating all the way back to when people were enslaved, the amount of money that is in the hands of white Americans versus black Americans and continues to pass through generations. That inheritance is a huge part of it.
I think that what's so interesting to me and surprising to me is that you have, when you're talking about the 1950s, if we're still in the same place with regard to this wealth gap, that meanwhile you have more black people who are working, who are going to college and getting graduate degrees and beyond.
But you know what that came with? Going to college? More student debt for black American families on average than white American families. And so
because white families had the money to help pay more for college.
Yes.
What's the solution?
Well, we have some personal recommendations for people at the end of our book. We don't give policy recommendations. One of them is that people at some point in their lifetimes consider working on a meaningful project with the person who is different from them. Just to, you know, create more empathy and understanding in our society. People are having all sorts of conversations in our country about affordable housing, student loan debt, but they don't really understand what it is like to be a person who is impacted by the black-white wealth gap.
And we are an example of a partnership. And we learned about this gap both through interviewing people, looking at research, looking at data.
What made you interested? What gives you this empathy that you wanted to talk about the disparity in wealth between black and white people?
It goes back to my public elementary school, which included Eatonville, Florida, where Zora Neale Hurston's from. I had amazing black teachers, and a very large percentage of my class were black students, and it really, being a kid, it framed my the way I view things, and that's why I think also people should have their kids among many groups of people.
Makes a difference. Luis, Ebony, we thank you both so much for coming on the show and for creating this book. Want to let our viewers know that you can get a copy of 15 Cents on the Dollar wherever books are sold. And still to come, it's never too late to pursue your dreams. Meet the 105-year-old who just celebrated a major accomplishment.
Why do so many people start their day here?
From ABC News, this is Start Here.
To be in the know and get a different take on the day's top stories.
A lot of news today, so let's get into it.
Listen now to the Daily News Podcast honored with 4 Edward R. Murrow Awards and see why the New York Times calls it a news podcast worth listening to. Start Here, ABC News. Make it your daily first listen.
Now, that's a part of the story I bet you didn't see coming.
Wherever you get your podcasts, Start Here.
Let's go.
The ship is incredible. It feels like living in a science fiction movie.
We just saw what no one has seen before.
Wow, look at that.
Oh my gosh.
Well, dead ahead. Turn on!
We are heading into the unknown.
Hammer, hammer, hammer. It doesn't get any more cutting edge than this.
Whenever, wherever news breaks, it's so important to always remember that lives are changed. Here in London, in Buffalo, Uvalde, Texas, Edinburgh, Scotland. Reporting from Rolling Fork, Mississippi, Ukrainian refugees here in Warsaw. We're heading to a small community outside of Mexico City, getting you behind the stories as they happen. ABC News Live Prime. We'll take you there.
Stream ABC News Live weeknights wherever you stream your news. Only on ABC News Live.
Hi, I'm Andy. And I'm Sabrina. And we're moms, juggling tons of stuff every day, like all you moms out there. And you know what we love? Really love? Pop culture. So what happens when being obsessed with pop culture collides with being a mom? You get us. So listen now to our new podcast, Pop Culture Moms, wherever you get your podcasts.
ABC's David Muir, the most watched newscast in America. More Americans watch World News Tonight with David Muir than any other newscast.
Turns out good things do come to those who wait, but more than 8 decades. Our Will Reeve now on the great-grandma who became a graduate at 105 years old.
This moment more than 80 years in the making. Virginia Hislop receiving her master's degree from Stanford at 105 years old.
My goodness, I've waited a long time. I always knew I wanted to go to Stanford.
In the 1940s, Ginny, as she's known, had taken the required classes at Stanford and needed to finish one more thing to graduate, her master's thesis. But then World War II broke out. Her boyfriend, George, called to serve, so Ginny left school to marry him, then assisted in the war effort and focused on her family while serving on school and college boards. Along the way, Stanford dropped that thesis requirement. And now, Ginny finally graduating, 105 years old, walking across the stage, diploma in hand, a Master's of Education, earned after decades of living and learning, telling GMA how she felt.
False modesty has never been one of my problems. I felt I deserved it, and I was delighted to get it.
And she certainly did get it and went out and got it. Our thanks to Will for that story. That's our show for tonight. I'm Lindsay Davis. ABC News Live is here for you all night with the latest news, context, and analysis. You can always find us on Hulu, Roku, Pluto TV, the ABC News app, and of course, abcnews.com. Thanks so much for streaming with us. Have a great night.
How do you feel?